Okay, it is 6:30. We have a forum. We'll call the workshop session to order. Donna, you want to go ahead? Is there anything critical? Is there something you want to go over in particular? Other than
when we get over to the Castle Hills number 7, the burnt track, we have some specifics to talk about on that.
Okay. Okay. Item 1, Chief, are you wanting to present that like you normally do?
Yes, sir.
Would you like me to go down there? You want to-
Love you.
And then on item 2, I asked Councilman Bond if he would go down to the podium with me to receive that. Councilman, ever since he's been on council, has pushed vigorously for energy efficiency and green technology throughout the city. So I'd like you to come down there and accept that award also with me, if you would.
I appreciate it.
And then item D is public hearing.
So this is another Majestic Realty product, 2 additional warehouses located over on Aceland. Requiring zone change.
Then item 1, approval of minutes. Item 2. Item 3. That time of year again.
Approved this several times in the past.
Item 4.
Mayor, on this one, there is an error in the backup memo that I just found out about late this afternoon. It talks about the waiver of rental fees being $7,459. It's actually $4,276. And the difference in that, in the backup memo, it lists a waiver of fees related to the MCL grant. And that's really not necessary because with Chalk This Way is really outside of the MCL grant. City staff runs the activities within the MCL. So when we do that, we deem it a city event, and so it's not really a waiver of fees.
Okay. Any questions on that?
Don and I talked earlier today about this one, and she's alleviated. Her and Mr. Ware here have alleviated 99% of my concerns.
Good. Okay, item 5. Item 6.
This is refunding of your debt. It's a refunding for savings, Castle Hill debt.
And then item 7, this is the one you wanted to...
Yes, sir.
Go for it.
This is the contract that we spoke about briefly at City Council retreat. And basically, this dates back, the burnt track, some of you may remember, dates back to 1998. And this is when the Castle Hills development was just first starting. And there was litigation between the Castle Hills development and the city of Carrollton. I think some of us called it the Black Banana, along Standridge. Standridge actually goes into, to the Castle Hills development. It's like the grand entrance into the Castle Hills development off of Hebron. And so there was an agreement in '98 that when this land was developed, that the owner of the land would actually build the additional 2 lanes for Standridge Drive. And so now here we come forward these years. And so what's happened to the burnt track is it was disannexed from the town of Hebron back in April 6th, and Bright Realty has purchased that property. What they would like to do is to bring that property into District 1C. Now, District 1C has a remaining authorization, the PID has remaining authorization of $4.8 million, a fairly minimal amount. So they would not be asking for any additional authorization, but they would bring this property and it would become a part of District 1C. Later, there'll be later agenda items that will actually take steps to bring it also into the pit. In order to bring it into the pit, the district though, a couple of things have to happen. One, the property related to Standridge Road needs to be given to the city of Carrollton. Because Carrollton actually already, the other 2 lanes are already in the city of Carrollton. Pulsar Elementary sits at the corner of Standridge and Pulsar Road. And so what we're recommending is that 2 additional lanes be given to Carrollton. And then they would manage those 2 lanes as well as that school district and the school crossing guards. So this item actually walks you through those steps. So the 3 tracks, which would be additional land for Standridge and 2 turn lanes, would go to the city of Carrollton. The remaining amount of the property would come into District 1C, except for the 5-foot strip that's around the southern, western, and eastern sides of the property. We would put that back in place when we bring in the pit. So that makes sense. That's what we're doing in this item. Drew Keith is also here with Bright Realty to answer any questions. And we have additional information to walk you through it if you have further questions.
You make any questions on it?
The only question, and maybe it's just for data for later, is when we were at retreat, we had the districts and kind of some lines put out. If this in any way impacts those timelines, I'd like to see that.
Timelines for
Potential annexation.
Yes. It's a fairly minor amount of debt. It's $4.8 million. So in the scheme of things, I think it would have a very minor impact.
Now, we're talking about the golf course and townhomes, correct, in 1C?
Yes, sir. 1C is the golf course and the townhomes.
Any other questions? Good. Thank you. Item 8.
I have a question for you, Councilman. I looked at the schedule. You're going to the step 3 English fight. Who's the name of what you're doing? The committee.
It's on
Finance Administration and Intergovernmental. And it looks like it meets Thursday at 1:30 and then again Friday morning. Is that right? So when are you flying in Thursday morning with?
What's the date Thursday?
The 11th.
No.
June 11th.
No. If you go down in the back of material, excuse me, let me find it. And if once I find it, it'll be better to try to describe it.
Just the one that we used to do.
Basically, I'm on the steering committee for the National League of Cities. And Julie has in here somewhere the schedule of events.
It's the last one. It's the schedule. It's
Okay.
Julie.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so the conference starts on the 9th, and I'm anticipating leaving on the 10th, not the 9th. There is a board meeting, a board finance committee meeting on the 30th. There's a
On the 10th.
yeah, I'm sorry, on the 10th. And also there's a reception and a board membership committee meeting. On the 11th, there is a finance administration and intergovernmental relations steering committee meeting. On the 12th, I believe there's 2 meetings.
12th?
Oh, on the 12th, there is the Joint Steering Committee's breakfast and Economic Development Committee meeting, Finance Administration and Intergovernmental meeting at 9 to 12. And again, there is a Finance Administration and Intergovernmental Relations Steering Committee meeting from 1:30 to 5.
Okay. I guess where I got confused is that I thought, I didn't realize you were going for the whole conference. I thought you
I'm
were
not.
going for the committee that you're on. Are you going for that committee or what? I don't understand.
Pardon me?
Are you going for the whole conference or? the
I'm going
committee?
from the 10th to the, I'm requesting to go from the 10th through the 13th. That is not the whole conference. And the points I was trying to make about these different meetings that happens during those days that I pointed out, I feel are relevant to the committee and to the interest of Louisville.
Okay.
And also, there's been a change in my travel arrangement, and the cost is significantly reduced.
Okay, well, that's good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Dennis. And I will be recusing myself from any vote for this.
Probably a good idea.
Anything else?
No, I just didn't understand what your role was. I thought it was.
I think what you did is you looked at that major page, and it had a meeting for that committee on a specific date. I don't remember what it was.
Well, it was on the staff memorandum. It said that you served on this committee, so I thought that's what you were going.
I do. I'm a member of the steering committee of that particular committee for the National League of Cities.
Okay.
Anything else?
And I'll just state that, you know, sometimes when you attend these functions, I think Greg will probably say the same thing, you get more education and learning from the other members that you go to with, because they're more intense and localized than when you do to the big national convention thing. And it's a lot more roundtable discussion, and you find out what other cities are doing and how they're doing it. And Greg and I have been to those leadership summit conferences, and I think they're much better than just the national convention as far as education-wise and helping you deal with situations that arise in your community. Because believe it or not, it happens all over America. I mean, a little bit different scenarios, but it's the same problems mostly everywhere.
And that's it. You're working side by side with your comrades from all over the country. Might not be identical, but it's very, very similar.
Exactly.
Much more so than walking around a big convention hall.
Yeah.
Though those still have good breakout sessions.
Right.
And larger and smaller and everything else.
Right.
And it all comes down, we all got the same problem.
Right.
Some way, somehow.
Okay. I can remember one of the first ones I went to, Donald probably remember what, it was up in, just north of Denver. I remember the town I think of. But when I came back, it was all about if you want to attract young entrepreneurs and technology people, you need to have music venues in your city. You need to have the arts in your city. You remember me coming back and ranting about that and going on about that? And they show statistics. City of Austin, I know Denver, but they showed the cities, and it's like that's what they thrive on. And that's what we really went to work, and that's one of the things that really pushed the Arts Center over here, getting that thing finished and developed, was because people are attracted to it. Look at the surrounding cities that come to this thing that don't have that for their citizens. So, I recommend you going.
I didn't understand the committee relationship. That was what I was trying to get a clear picture.
Yes, I was appointed beginning of the year.
Okay. Any other questions? Council, ideas? Julie? Yes. Liz? Donna? Okay, we're adjourned.
Wasn't real good at it before.
We'll convene back into regular session. Is there any action to be taken, council?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Adjourned by Councilman Ferguson, second by Councilman Gilmore. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.